information that I was just gathering on resveratrol and eternity. So hang on one second. I'm going to mute you all out so that
I'm going to turn
uh,
off.
yep. So I'm going to mute that all out and hang on one second here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Sisel Eternity, and you know. Sizzle Eternity, it's a product made with something called resveratrol, and I just wanted to pull up a couple of research projects or research articles that I keep in my library. I keep a library on products because every day I run into people who are sick. They have cancer, they have Alzheimer's, they have autoimmune disorders, they have this, they have that, and I don't want to have to search the internet individually for each person. So what I do is I keep a library of things on my phone. So this is just one of them on my library, on my huge library on resveratrol. And so this was from CNN. You can see at the top there, CNN Health. So this is mainstream media. It says for Alzheimer's patients, resveratrol brings new hope. This is November 2015, and so they go through and I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it just says over the years, resveratrol, an antioxidant found in grapes, chocolate, red wine, has been touted as a possible antidote for Alzheimer's disease, cancer, diabetes, and many other conditions. And so this first study that they talked about with people with Alzheimer's suggests that the compound, when taken in concentrated doses, may actually have a benefit in slowing the progression of this disease. And you can look this article up. It's CNN, resveratrol, hope for Alzheimer's patients. You can look that up. But bottom line is that the reason that I'm bringing this up is that here's an article that justifies, it adds that third-party validation to our product. And I'll talk a little bit about our product because I want people to know that you can't just take any resveratrol product. You can't just go out and get a bunch of grapes and stomp on them in a bucket and say, oh, I got resveratrol. No, it's a little bit different than that. Here's an article that was published in Pharmacology Perspective, and this is from February of 2017, and it says, you can read that there, the effects of resveratrol and drug and carcinogen metabolizing enzyme, implications for cancer prevention. And so resveratrol is a polyphenol found in grape skins and peanuts, and it's been demonstrated many health benefits, including protection against aging, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, and neurological decline, and cancer. And the anti-cancer properties of resveratrol have been attributed to a variety of mechanisms, which, again, you can download this article if you want to take a look at it. But it works with your body's own system to improve and support the natural system. And this is the thing that you all want to learn how to say, is that it supports and it improves your body's system that fights the disease. We're not fighting, we're not treating, we're not curing the disease. What we're doing is we're helping the system so that it can be better utilized. Here's another article. I pulled this up because when my brother got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, I really wanted to help him. This is from November of 2010, and he went to Mayo Clinic, and the doctors at Mayo Clinic had no idea about this research, and I'm like, holy cow, people, if I can find it, you can certainly find it. But it says the anti-proliferative effect of resveratrol in pancreatic cancer cells. So it says that it basically can help the body in its fight for working with pancreatic cancer. And folks, I'll just tell you, my brother's pancreatic cancer, he's doing great. His cancer numbers went from skyrocketing to down to a normal range. And he's just doing great. I saw him last weekend. And here's another one. Resveratrol on lymphoma and leukemia cells. And again, I had a personal objective for finding this article. My dad was diagnosed with a type of lymphoma. It was a rare form of lymphoma. And the doctors at Mayo Clinic, again, they told him that there was nothing he could do. He couldn't, there was no cure. He was going to be dead in a couple of years. And so I went looking for research. And here's the research that I found, that resveratrol and lymphoma and leukemia cells. And I got my dad taking this, and it helped his body. It helped his body, so he was able to fight it. And my dad's been doing great. His doctors at Mayo Clinic say that he's beaten the darn stuff. And And then, you know, here's another one. This is from September of 2018, and resveratrol, double-edged sword in health benefits, and it says resveratrol belongs to the polyphenol benoids group, possessing 2 phenol rings, and you can go through all that detected, and it's found in grapes, grape skins, grape seeds. It's found in red wine and a variety of different types of food. But it says that resveratrol possesses a very high antioxidant potential. Resveratrol exhibits anti-tumor activity, and it's considered a potential candidate for prevention and treatment of several types of cancer. I presented you with 2 different types of cancer. Indeed, resveratrol anti-cancer properties have been confirmed by many in lab and in real life, which shows that resveratrol is able to inhibit all carcinogenesis stages: initiation, promotion, and progression. Even more bioeffective effects, namely as anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic, cardioprotective, vasorelaxant, phytoestrogenic, and neuroprotective. Resveratrol application is still being a major challenge for the pharmaceutical engine. Oh, I feel so sorry for Big Pharma, but due to its poor solubility and bioavailability as well as the adverse effects. So bottom line is, this article says that, you know, even though resveratrol has great benefits, the problem with it is that most resveratrol really doesn't work the way that was described in the first Harvard articles and things like that. And so now this is where I really want to talk about Sisel, and I want to talk about Eternity. So when they did the original research on resveratrol, they really studied fresh resveratrol. It had been just freshly gotten from the grapes, the grape skin, the grape seeds, and they did the studies on it, and they found that resveratrol had all of these effects that it talks about here. Later on, these doctors are trying to discredit the researcher who had the original research on resveratrol, and they went out and they got resveratrol and they tried to recreate the studies, and they found out that it didn't work. And then the original researcher, he went back and he tried to figure out, well, why did it work for me? Why isn't it working for everybody else? And it turns out that resveratrol is highly oxidative, which means that if it's exposed to air, if it's exposed to oxygen, it degrades really quickly. And so most resveratrol that's on the market, they go out and they squeeze these grapes. They take the grape skins, they take the seeds, the roots, whatever they get it from, and then they take the resveratrol, and then they put it into these big mixing machines and whatever not that they use, and it's exposed to oxygen, it's exposed to air, and it causes the resveratrol to break down. And so when they come out with their product and they say, hey, we have one too, us too, look over here, we have one too, and ours is a lot cheaper. Well, you get what you pay for, folks, because when you use a resveratrol that's made in that way, it's lost 90% of its potential benefits because it just doesn't have the strength anymore. It won't work. It won't do what we want it to do. And so when Tom designed Eternity, he knew about this science. I mean, this guy is super smart, and he knows that there's a way of doing things and a way of not doing things. And so he made the resveratrol in a way that it's not exposed to oxygen. It's basically contained. It's in a protective barrier. And then what he does is he puts it into a bottle, a liquid bottle, liquid product, nutraceutical, that's reverse filled with nitrogen. And so as you're putting the resveratrol into the bottle, it's actually pushing the nitrogen out. And then when you cap the bottle, none of the product has been exposed to air. None of the product has been oxidized. And that's why our product is so much better than anything else that's on the market. So, with that, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to open this up and really unmute all of you and see, does anybody have any questions on any comments that you can add?
Yeah, I'd like to say that just hearing you speaking about all that, and giving the information about the resveratrol, I think that every time I listen to you speak or I listen to another, live or recording about the products, I learn a little bit more. So at first, when I started listening to you, I was thinking, well, you know, a lot of new people that might have jumped on today and started listening to you and thinking, oh my God, I could never learn all that. I don't know all that. But I was the same. I didn't know all of that information. But you know, yeah, like I said, every week that I tune in and listen to recordings when I'm driving, or if I'm doing the dishes, I'll put something on, because I want to be able to share this with other people, because so many other people are suffering and hurting and need support. And you know, it's a passion of mine, of course, to do lots of research and find out the best products in the world to help and support people. So yeah, I think that's you know, one little thing that I wanted to add is just to keep tuning in and learn a little bit more each time, and eventually it'll all click.
Yeah, great, Marsha. I think with the Eternity product too, Curt, it's worth mentioning, you know, we've got once the bottle's been cracked, there's 30 days is how long the resveratrol remains, you know, active for, because after that it's been too long exposed to air, and so therefore, you know, you do need to consume it within the 30 days. And Curt, can you just mention quickly the process of how they, you know, vacuum seal the bottle so that, you know, our resveratrol is maintained in the Eternity product?
You bet. Well, I already described that with, you know, when they reverse fill it with nitrogen. You bet.
Yeah. So that's really important too. So, yeah, you know, you're getting a great product, and, you know, you can hold it in your mouth. I love the fact that if you hold it in your mouth for, you know, how long do they recommend, Curt? Is it a minute?
Well, what I tell people when they're using the product, take your shot glass with the product in it, and just take a little sip and swish it around your mouth for about 20 seconds. Then take and swallow that. Then take another little sip, swish it around in your mouth, and swallow that. And then do that until you've consumed the entire amount, because resveratrol, unlike, like, say, fucoidan, resveratrol needs to be absorbed through the mucosal membrane, and it absorbs quicker. And resveratrol is actually destroyed by the stomach acid, just like vitamin B3, like nicotinamide riboside. And so that's why you wanted to do it that way, so that it has those benefits.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I had to add. Thank you. That's fabulous.
No.
I found that very useful. Thank you, Curt. The resveratrol story, you know, why our product's superior to others. And I wish I could have you on tap, because I'm a little bit nervous with what I've got coming up with my presentations, because I'm going to try to run something that I haven't done before.
Yeah. Well, like Ian said, that's what you want to do, Margaret, is you want to expand your horizon. You want to do things that you've never done before, because now you'll stretch your brain, and just like a rubber band, it'll never go back to the original size.
Great.
Nothing changes. It's really, really good to step out, because we all learn every day about things. I think if you weren't nervous about something in the beginning, then you're not really being a human being. Everybody has a little bit of nervousness about what they're doing. And you should just step out, do what you do, and be really good at what you do at the end. So
be bold.
The learning process. Be bold. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, when I first started in the industry, I have a very technical background, predominantly a really quiet person. But I know when I stepped out on a stage with about 2,500 people in front of me, it was a really daunting episode for me. But you know what? You have little things in your mind to say, look, all these people are just like me. You know, they're just sitting there. They're just wanting to learn. They're wanting to hear what you have to say, because they wouldn't be there if they didn't want to hear what you wanted to say. So just remember that people who come to your meetings are there for a reason. They're there to actually pick up on what you have to say. So just be really, you know, just take it really easy, chill out, you know, have a cup of tea or something, or have a bit of whatever, and then just go ahead and do it. You know, there's nothing in it. It's just, we're all the same. You know.
That's right.
Great, thank you.
Pardon?
Thank you. That's great input. Thank you. Fantastic.
Yeah. No, that's I think it's, you know, this industry, when I first started, I know that, you know, I was probably a little bit, I have a scientific and engineering background, and, you know, you need to be shown everything about products. You know, you have to have proof and whatever else. And you know, sometimes in the products that we offer, you know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not at that. So you just need to have faith in the fact is that, you know, Tom and his crew are really there with it. And some of the stuff that comes out with him, like as Curt presented today, there's research that Tom uses. You know that it's, you know, it has efficacy, it has all the good things. And the other thing is that using the product is yourself is where you actually get the most credibility out of it, I think. And just to put my story back a bit is that 30 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And so it was a bit of a daunting episode for me. And fortunately, I was able to get over it and whatever. But what happened then was that somebody introduced me to another product, which was Tom's product. And it was really good in those days. So ever since then, I've been using all these products. And I take this story that I have and I present it to people who maybe have a little bit of a doubt about how it was. So, and they look at me now and I think, well, you know, I'm still here. I'm still growing, and I really don't get sick very often at all now. So I take all these products, and the products that Tom's presenting now, I think, are far superior to what we were using in the past. So it's, you know, I suppose we used to pick on people. We used to take people like, you know, I don't know if you ever heard of Brian Epstein, the toxicologist. We used to have him and into meetings, and he would you know, present from a toxicological point of view the brilliant products that Tom was producing, no toxins, you know, very safe, you know, the whole thing. And so that added credibility to our story as well. So, but just, yeah, Margaret, get out there and just do it. It's really you'll be so grateful that you've done it to yourself because it is a wonderful feeling to help other people.
That's right.
Right.
All right. Well, everyone, you know, I know we've used up a lot of time, and for those of you that have stayed with us the whole hour, I appreciate that. For those of you that are listening to the recording, you know, thanks for listening and paying attention. I hope that we were able to help you understand a little bit more about why we're here. Why would we take, you know, here it's a Friday night up in America, United States here, and I'm spending my time with all of you, and why all of you from down in Australia are getting up early and jumping on and sharing it. It's because it's important. If we can help one person, if this video helps one person, we did our job. So thank you, all of you, for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Marsha.
See you next time.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day.